Welcome, I'm Reverend Jane Coley, and today's talk is how you can go from poor to rich using the I am statement. And as usual, I want to start with a couple of quotes, and they're both from Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind. And he says, we should believe that God is the invisible partner in our lives and affirm that divine love goes before us and prepares the way. I lift up my mind and heart to be aware and to understand and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good. So how you can go from poor to rich using this I am statement. First off, poor means less than adequate, whether we're talking about food, support, or money. Whereas synonyms for rich could be abundant, lavish, bountiful. My focus today will be on the richness of true prosperity, this I am. And we say in Science of Mind, change our thoughts and change our lives. And so I add to that, change our beliefs that are attached to those thoughts and habits. And we have this choice. So why not use it? When I was doing research on this, I looked up Warren Buffett, who had 66 billion, and he says, dream big. I always knew, he says, that I was going to be rich. He always knew it. He says, I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. Well, that got me thinking. If he always knew it, he had made a choice to be rich. And he tuned into this inner knowing. And that he was going to be rich, he used his I am consciousness. Because whether we're conscious of it or not, it's already happening. It's already there. It's not something we go do. It's already available. We just tune into it. The only difference between someone who's poor and rich is that the person who knows and is tuned into that I am consciousness, they're creating that abundance, that outpicturing. It's in that inner knowing. This is the heart of the I am. It's not in the doing. And I am deciding to know and to choose to be rich in every area of my life. And since I know it's an inside job, then that means I have to tune to feeling rich no matter what's going on in my outside world and what's manifesting or not showing up. And for me, what I've realized is that it's starting to show up as I feel rich inside. It's showing up in my outside world, in my relationships, in my finances, in my health. So I encourage you to try. I've been experimenting with this for about 5 weeks, and these are some of the statements I've been using. I am rich in God. I am rich in consciousness. I am rich in health. I'm rich in family and friends. I am rich in cash. I'm rich in clients. And I am rich in assets. So I know for me, I had to change thoughts in my words and my actions to get a new result. And that's exactly what those statements are. Easy to remember. And I want to go on to share with you 3 spiritually rich habits to connect to this I am consciousness that I've been working with. One is that the source of all money is God's the source of everything. And money comes in the form of ideas through our I am consciousness. And every night I read from my little John Randolph Price, the Abundance book and the Success book. And I'm just going to paraphrase what he says. He says, I lift up my mind and my heart to be aware, to understand and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good. And I'm choosing to stop believing invisible money as my source and supply. I'm choosing to see the world of effects outside of me is truly what it is, an outpicturing of my former beliefs. And I did believe in the power of money, but now I'm surrendering to this God-given power, this I am. And I did believe in the possibility of lack and limitation and feeling poor, as I mentioned before. But all of this was created. It's creating this feeling of separation from my source, which is God. And I am choosing to tune into that source, my I am. Instead, I'm now believing in my divine inheritance, my being of God, of who I am. And this day I've been acknowledging God as my source and supply all day. And great ideas tend to drop in when we're listening and we're expecting them, especially right after a spiritual practice. I feel I'm open, but the next step is then I have to take action to follow up on what I've been guided. For me, this has meant anything from learning about doing books in a very detailed way, taking classes on finance, taking prosperity workshops, teaching prosperity workshops over and over and over again, which I am doing another one coming up January the 3rd, 2017. So please join us. Marianne Williams says, who are we? Who are we to live small? Who are we? We're divine beings. It's our greatness. So number one, tune into the source, that's God, and that God is already within you. Number two is once you get the money, I feel that it's important to be a steward of our money. And the main idea is that we see God as our source and we take responsibility for our finances and what's showing up and what's not showing up. It's not our parents' fault. It's not our employers or our clients' fault. It's not any of this. It's our consciousness that's creating this out picturing. We want to change, we have to change from the inside out, tuning into this I am Christ consciousness. This ripple is going on whether we are conscious of it or not. The I am is always there. And this cause and effect, it's happening. So we might as well tune in, but first we have to ask for the ideas as they come forward. Instead of waiting for an idea to pop up, we can be proactive. And Mary Morrissey talks about this in the Prosperity Plus too. She has the Land of Solutions where you list 20 ideas to solve something that you're looking for a solution on. So it might be you want $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000. You list that at the top and then you just list ideas, whatever they might be. But by the time you get down to 6 to 20, you're tuning into this deeper part of you. And then you go back and see which ones raise your energy and you get electricity around. And then you follow through with action steps on that. You know, the other day, I had this come up where this little part of me was like, poor Janie, oh, I feel poor inside. And it was a scared little voice. And I wrote down, I took the time to journal some of the limiting beliefs I had. So as I listened to this voice within with this tenderness, instead of like, being all frustrated, I didn't have the money I wanted right then. I just gave it a little press. I listened to this voice gently. And then as soon as I got the insight around where I had the limiting belief, I ran to the nearest person who could help me acknowledge my greatness. And that's what I recommend to you. And because that we go through these moments, I feel it's imperative that we love ourselves wherever we are right now. And versus where we want to be, this part of us, this I am, it must include loving ourselves where we are right now. And it's so easy to not like ourselves where we are now. And then we get upset with ourselves. And at this exact junction, when we're making this transformation, when we love ourselves, we continue it through the whole process. And it just doors open when we're coming from a place of love. I can't stress that enough. Also, regarding being a good steward of our money, when we honor source through tithing, we honor this I am Christ consciousness. And we're always experiencing a mirror in our lives of the I am that we're knowing in the moment. So if our bank account isn't overflowing, then our I am is not in a state of knowing. We have this internal GPS. And sometimes we think we've embodied something, but clearly it isn't showing up in our bank account, or it's not showing up in our health, or it's not showing up on our client roster. So start with where you are right now today. Love yourself. Set a course. Begin to take the time. Enhance your spiritual practice. Even if you have one, enhance it and tune into this I am Christ consciousness. Practice. It does take practice to know for that we already are rich, we're already healthy, we're already abundant. It's our Christ consciousness. And then our outward results will start to mirror and picture that. So number 2 was that we tune into being stewards of our money. And 3 is that tithing, as I mentioned. Tithing is another way to honor the source of our income. It's being a good steward of our money. And we practice giving 10% where we're spiritually fed every week. And poor and rich are two sides of the same coin. And I have made a choice to be rich, to move into this next part, this next phase of my life. And this question came to me is, how can I use the I am Christ consciousness to go from poor to rich? And it's like I said, I had the 3 spiritual rich practices, the habits, and one of them was that I know that God is the source, even though some other appearance may be showing up, and that God comes to me through ideas, so I share that with you, and that ideas come forth after my spiritual practice, during my spiritual practice. I just am embodying more of this divine essence, this I am, so I invite you to do the same. Number 2 is to be a good steward of the money that you do have. And number 3 is to honor source with tithing. So I want to close saying that every day, all day, I have been choosing to be vigilant with my mind, my thoughts. And as a result of that affirmation I shared earlier, I'd like us to do as a group, because it's making a huge difference in my life, and it's easy to remember. So let's do it together. I am rich in God. I am rich in God. I'm rich in consciousness. I am rich in consciousness. I'm rich in health. I am rich in health. I'm rich in family and friends. I'm rich in family and friends. I am rich in cash. I am rich in cash. I'm rich in assets. I am rich in assets. I am rich in clients. I am rich in clients. I am. Thank you. I love you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.